Hello and welcome to the Unlock Your Game podcast presented by Shoot 360 Louisville. Coach Blake, we are now 10 episodes in. It's been a lot of fun putting this together and continue to learn more and more about Shoot 360 Louisville and our coaches as well, and continuing to put things together to inspire athletes. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we began this at the beginning of the off season. Now we're starting to see all these kids come in, talking about their tryouts coming up, things like that. You can see the excitement in the air. So we've made it all the way to the beginning of the season. We're looking forward to a fun season coming up.
Yep, we had tryouts this week for our high schoolers. A lot of kids have gone through their middle school tryouts, and we are officially into basketball season, Coach Blake. It feels like it ended yesterday. The summer flew by. Hopefully, everyone was taking advantage of their opportunities, training wise, and we want to get it started the right way and kind of talking to everyone about just Louisville basketball and what we can expect in the city this upcoming year.
Yeah, going into that, kind of talking about the start of the season and what to expect in Louisville, the city of Louisville. What do you think we can expect coming up?
Well, so first things first, we're going to see a lot of really talented and balanced teams this year. And a great way for our kids to learn to get better is to go watch some of our older high school kids play. And I encourage that for parents and athletes to go watch our kids who are some of the most talented in the state go play these games. And we can look forward to, as always, our King of the Bluegrass tournament and the Louisville Invitational towards the middle half of the year coming up in January and December. But the biggest thing I kind of want us to really be excited for and ready for is what Shoot 360 has to offer coming up this year. We have some really good in-season academies that we're going to be running, and we're also doing a 3-on-3 league for our elementary school. And these are things that we've done the in-season academy before. We haven't done the 3-on-3 league, and we're just trying to continue to branch out and provide new opportunities. And these are really good things that are coming up that we really want our athletes and members to take advantage of.
Yeah, especially that 3-on-3 league. If you're in intermediate school, it's a great opportunity to get out there, get more reps in. If you've been doing some personal trainings and haven't been able to get in that actual live game flow with any of the stuff you've been working on, say that you're not on a team coming up, this is a great opportunity for you to get into a game feeling and learn why we're going to do something in a game. If you're cutting somewhere, you're going to learn why we're setting a ball screen in a certain spot. So it's really breaking down learning that game and trying to advance our skills.
For sure. It's really important for us to make sure that we focus on the preparation for those games as well, as we're going to have practices for that 3-on-3 league, and just kind of making sure that we're learning the way and how it works so that when we get into middle school, we're ready for the process of how it works coming up to games and preparing and making sure that we're ready to play when our time comes and our numbers call. So that's really exciting, Coach Blake. And then, I mean, we'd kind of be remiss to not sit here and talk about. I mean, Louisville is a basketball city, and we are back in the limelight. Our basketball team is really competitive. We feel like going into this season, and I feel like a lot of our kids are going to be able to learn a lot from the players at the University of Louisville with the competitiveness that's coming back, and you'll be able to see the Louisville Kentucky rivalry kind of take its step back up into the limelight, and you also be able to just see overall the competitiveness that's coming from that team this year.
For sure. I feel like when Louisville and Kentucky, when the both of those teams are up at their apex, and you can throw Indiana in there as well. We don't have to talk about them as much, but when all these local teams are up there playing well, they've got a good culture. It feels like just it lights the whole basketball fandom on fire in these parts. And we had a media day for the basketball team this past Wednesday. And just you're going to be able to learn a lot from these people, not just what they do on a court, but they've talked about culture a lot, and we've talked about culture a lot on this podcast. And just talking to people around that team and who they are, like you walk up to somebody, they're saying yes sir, no sir. It's like these people is these are who you want to learn from, and
Yeah.
they're great at breaking down that game. This is going to be a fun year to watch for sure.
100%. And I mean, I feel like our high school basketball scene specifically thrives when Louisville basketball is at its peak. When you kind of go back and look at that 2013 to 2016 stretch, the amount of talented young kids that we had coming out of the Southern Indiana area and this Louisville area, I mean, it was about as good as it had
Hotbed.
been. Yeah, and that was when Louisville was kind of at its peak. You're coming off the national championship, the Final Fours, the Elite Eights, and when you're competitive and you can kind of show that to the people closest around you in this city, you kind of see the ripple effect through the high school ranks, and you can kind of see where that kind of fell off in a sense of, Louisville's not as relevant as they had been prior, and the high school basketball scene took a hit for it. And not in the sense of whether or not we're pumping out competitive players. We have always had competitive players in the city of Louisville and in Southern Indiana, but we've kind of seen where Lexington kind of took advantage of that, where you kind of started to see the stars kind of start to come more out of Lexington and Louisville, and that had been something entirely we weren't really used to. Louisville had always been the basketball hotbed, as you said, for high school basketball. And I feel like we're kind of starting to see that transition back just after a year of competitive Louisville basketball back in the starlight. Coach Scotty and I were looking at it the other day. Whether or not we did get bounced in the first round, that team still finished ranked 11th in the AP poll last year, and that was losing in the round of 64. So a lot of positive things coming from them, and I feel like that's really going to impact our athletes. One, because as you said, we talked about that culture, but two, you're just seeing a product of basketball that's just really competitive and talented, and you can learn a lot from what they do on the court as far as moves, how they respond to adversity, and then overall just how they compete against the best, and that can be really inspiring.
Yeah, and you can even look back at Louisville. It wasn't just a hotbed in that general, from 2013 when we were winning. You look back in the 80s and 90s when Louisville was winning too. You had people like Dwayne Morton, Dewan Wheat, all these people were in Louisville, and that's just the ground of it. And those people would go out play at the Dirt Bowl, all these outside events, and like that's where they would. It feels like they would earn their teeth to get to Louisville by just going against all this local talent. When you talk to one of them, it's like, yo, you should have seen this guy that I played over here or something like that. It's a lot of people that they didn't play in college or didn't make it to college. And it's like a lot of local legends. There's so much high school talent throughout here.
100%. And, you can also even point to the fact that economically, like when Louisville basketball is going, the city of Louisville is going. Businesses are thriving, and people are just happier. And I can't blame them. When you have a competitive basketball team and your city is known for basketball, it helps a lot. Makes people a little bit happier, a little more smiles walking around, and the businesses can prosper as well. And we often talk about our watch market here. A lot of people don't know, but Louisville is, you want to talk about a hotbed for high school athletes, hotbed for just watching sports in general. The thrive and the want and need for competitive sports around here in Louisville is very high. And when Louisville's really good, you're tuned in and you got a lot of people watching, and that again comes back to our members. And what I can always just emphasize is what you see on TV isn't always the most realistic, in the sense of, you can do that right now. But what it is an inspiration of, hey, if I continue to put in the hard work, that's something that I could achieve and accomplish and put myself in a position to be doing one day. And I know that you had kind of spoken with some athletes on Wednesday at the media day. Coach Blake is the man. He's all about it. And he went down and asked some questions for us. And I'd love to just kind of elaborate on those questions and who you talked with.
Yeah, so I was able to catch up with both Kobe Rogers, who spent some time throughout the summer at the facility, and Will Hankey, who's been there basically ever since we opened. I got to talk to them about just how much both the culture and the technology has helped them out throughout their basketball career. I know Kaysen had his camp up there this summer. He was swamped with media because he's coming back with injury and everything like that. So time kind of ran out before I was able to talk to him. But we'll put those conversations in here real quick, and we'll catch everybody on the other side. How much do you think that Shoot 360 going in there, you're in there every single day, how much did that help improve your game?
I mean, just having that tool of the gun, just being able to get up so many shots is just unique, and really you can't get that anywhere else. And just going in there, yeah, as much as I wanted, I'd be in there every day. And being a part of the culture in the gym was also really, really special. Just so many people going in there working out. You build relationships with the players and the coaches that are working there, and so it motivates you to want to go in there and to work hard. And yeah, it really helped my game, really helped my shooting, helped me develop my game.
You spent some time up at Shoot 360 this summer. What was that technology doing for you, and just what was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, it was great. Getting out somewhere that I don't really get out too often, joining in and kind of interacting with that community, as well as seeing, what Shoot 360 has to offer. I've spent multiple days in there, kind of working on my shot. It gets me, instant feedback right away. So, I'm going to see it, and we're going to see it here put to the test real soon.
Coach Blake, it was great to hear from both of them. Really appreciate you getting that insight. And first, just kind of want to talk about Will. He was with us the longest, and first things first, he kind of talked about how often he was coming in and how much he was taking advantage of the arms here at Shoot 360 and the technology that was provided. And just kind of, we've talked about this, and it kind of gets repetitive, obviously, but we've talked about the amount of reps that you can really take advantage of. And it feels like that's what Will was always doing when he came in. It was about the reps and the adjustments he could make. And that's what he was always focused on and doing. And, he took advantage of it. And you can obviously see what you can prosper from that. And Will is working alongside and playing for one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I always noticed after Will would work out, we talk about being Maxie talked about how Davion would be in that full-on sweat. He'd have to change shirts. Will would be the same exact way. He would get done with a dribbling warm up on the skills court, and he would be drenched in sweat. And so when we talk about using the most out of your opportunities, he was a picture perfect example of what that looked like.
100%. And, people can always go back. You can find Will's videos actually on YouTube. St. X has their games on their channel. You can go watch him play. Will is one of the hardest playing, hardworking guys out there. And it just shows, you're going to be given opportunities for how hard you work, and you just got to take them. And that's what Will did. And he's put himself in a position to be around a really competitive Louisville team. And he's going to do that. And he's going to embrace it. And I'm sure he loves it, as we've heard some really good stories on how hard Will's been working with the team, and just kind of taking advantage of Shoot 360 Louisville. And just kind of moving on to Kobe. For those who don't know, Kobe worked for us and with us this past summer, doing some internship stuff here at Shoot 360 Louisville, as well as he would come in and take advantage of using the technology. And you could really see the strides he made, especially coming off of an injury. He was in need of those repetitions, and he really took advantage of them. And as he talked about when you asked, the feedback that he was getting instantly, you could tell over time, you could really see his jump shot grow and improve. A lot of you don't know because we didn't get to see Kobe in action, but Kobe is a very athletic and dynamic guard who, he really does a nice job of getting 2 feet in the paint and finishing around the rim, as well as has a really good mid-range jump shot. And for those who do know and don't know, Louisville is not a huge mid-range jump shot team. So he really had to work on this summer getting in and shooting up a lot of threes. And he did that. And it was a lot of fun to see, because even at that level, you think a player can be maxed out at their potential or can be so good at something that they're always working on something dynamic, and it's not just catch and shoot. And that's what Kobe was doing. He was in here getting up 500 shots, 300 makes, I believe is what they have to do. And he was doing that every day in here all summer, or almost every day in here specifically at Shoot 360. And I think you are going to see the benefits of that this upcoming season.
Most definitely. And you're able to see his leadership qualities as well. If he was helping people with PTs, things like that, and that you could see the kids were like, "Oh my God, I'm training with a Louisville basketball player right now." And he was more than happy to be down there. He had a smile on his face, helping with contact, kind of being a defender if he needed to. So we've definitely got two key additions right there that are going to be able to play for us and be leaders for us this year.
100%. And, the benefit again of having those guys in the facility, it starts with our members, one, willing to be able to learn from guys like that, but two, just having the perspective of how do they work out? How are they training? We had people able to benefit from getting to have some conversations and see them do that. And that's what it takes to get to that level, 100%. So it's nice to see them there and kind of talking about Shoot 360 Louisville, and that's great for our members to hear that. And we hope you all can really enjoy just kind of understanding that moving forward, this you'll have an opportunity if you just keep working. Shout out to Big Bad Breakfast for sponsoring today, making this Shoot 360 Louisville Unlock Your Game podcast possible. They've been a huge sponsor for the gym and now for our podcast, and we're happy to have them helping us out and making this happen. Shoot 360 family, we have our 3-on-3 league coming up starting in December. Signups end November 24th. So please, please, please go join us. And it is for 4th and 5th graders. We look forward to doing it, and we will have the details up on the screen. Shoot 360 family, it's been a lot of fun getting to just kind of sit down and talk today, talk a little basketball, talk about what's going on here around the city. And I want to encourage everyone who's listening, members, parents, we want to come watch your games this year. So we want to see the progress that you all are making, the strides, because we are prideful in that. That makes our gym go. If we can have the opportunity to show what you all are doing and how you're succeeding and growing, and do a little compare and contrast over the time that you've been here, that would be great. So please share your schedules with us. You can share them in our comment section here, on Twitter, on our Instagram at Shoot 360 Louisville, Facebook, etc. There are plenty of platforms where we want you to share that schedule with us so that we can kind of see what's going on. We really want to get out to as many games as possible this year, and just continue to help our members grow and continue to help our community grow with basketball.
Most definitely. Look forward to getting out there and seeing as many different athletes that we have in the gym as possible this year.
100%. And just to kind of wrap up some Louisville City basketball talk as we are into the season, Coach Blake, we put together some things that we just we want to share some knowledge, and we kind of want to just have a little fun sharing with you all some inspiration. And maybe for those who are listening, you feel like you can be the next team up or the next person up for some of these categories. And we just kind of wanted to share that with you all. And first things first is, Coach Blake, we want to take a step back, and we kind of want to look at the first thing was we want to give our members an opportunity to, can you guess the last 3 Louisville City teams, so any teams from Louisville, to win the state basketball tournament? It can be the girls team or the boys side. We want you guys to kind of play along and guess and put that down in the comments, what you think those last 3 teams were. And while we're waiting for your all's answers to the question, we're going to put in some pictures to kind of go back over the summer and have a nice little summer recap of pictures for you guys to see how much Shoot 360 has grown and been able to do over the summer.
As an athlete, I'm always looking for ways to improve. That's why I turned to Shoot 360 Louisville. With real-time feedback and personalized drills, I'm seeing results at a rapid pace. The trainers push me to be my best, and the technology tracks my progress every step of the way. Their tech helps me analyze every shot, every move, so I can train smarter and get better faster. If you want to change the way you play, then change the way you train. My name is Bryn Brickey, and I'm a Shoot 360 Louisville athlete.
And your answers for the question, the last 3 state champions to come out of the city of Louisville For the boys side, Trinity in 2019, Trinity in 2012, and J-Town in 2006. So the boys side has some work to do. Okay. Hopefully we can add another one this year. I know we have some really competitive teams out here in the city this year. So we'll be looking to hopefully add another notch to that and knock off that 2006 one so we can have a little more recent success. And on the female side, I think everybody knows. If you don't know, Coach Blake is from Southern Indiana, so he's not as well versed. But I've let him know about Sacred Heart's dominance. They have now won the last 5 or 6 female state championships. So they've been pretty dominant, Coach Blake. They've kind of ran the scene. And let's see if we can maybe get another city team to take the belt this year from them. Or Sacred Heart can just keep representing, and we got no problems with that.
That's
Lexington's not taking over. Yeah.
That's insane.
It's pretty special. The coach over there does a really nice job, and they've had some really talented girls come out of there as well. Our next question, just for some Louisville City basketball information, just kind of a fun segment. Who is the all-time leading scorer in the city of Louisville for the female side and the male side? We'll have some pictures up from this summer. You'll enjoy the progression that we've made and how hard people work in the summer as we let you answer this question. All right, Shoot 360. Now that you've had the time to put in your answer in the comments section, for the male side, we have Manuel Forrest from Moore High School. He played from 1977 to 1981. He scored 3,226 points in his high school career, leading him to be the all-time male scorer in all of Louisville City basketball history. That's pretty cool, Coach Blake, something we definitely didn't know. And then for the female side, we have Lisa Harrison from Southern High School. She played from 1985 to 1989. She scored 3,469 points in 4 seasons. That's a lot of points, Coach. That's a lot of points, Coach Blake. Yeah, and then she ended up going to the University of Tennessee. So really cool, really fun stuff. Glad we could kind of talk about what's going on in Louisville basketball and coming up here in the city, and also as well as the University of Louisville, and continuing to grow and learn and find fun ways to keep Shoot 360 Louisville on our toes and continuing to grow and get better. So, Coach Blake, really appreciate your time. It's been a great podcast and recording with you, and really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Let's get ready to get this season started.
Absolutely. Shoot 360 family, we really appreciate you all joining us for episode 11. Coach Blake and I were able to break down what's going on in the city of basketball here in Louisville and what to kind of look forward to with Shoot 360. If you wouldn't mind, please leaving a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow for our Unlock Your Game podcast. And we are so ready. We have a special guest coming on Wednesday, recording, and we cannot wait to kind of chop it up. So if you want to figure out who that is, you'll have to listen to the next one, and we look forward to seeing you all in the gym. Y'all have a great week.